let the girl dance. Show respect, step back, no need for space invasion. Stop saying your room number at the day's end. Let the girl dance, that's really all she came for. $1 million dress probably came from the thrift store. Even though she seems to be exactly what you wish for, she's never coming in on your transistor. Don't matter if you're rich or piss poor, she's out of your league and in a different sport. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. No screaming aloud though, you just get a glance. Don't try to swim game, yo, just let the girl dance. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. You can watch her soul flow from a distance, but give her some bass on, let the girl dance.
Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvis.
And I'm Tony Mollick.
Welcome back to Slotrods. On this episode, we're getting ready for those outlaws to come to town. In the spring of 2022, we're going to have a very special Street Outlaws themed race featuring 10 1/24th scale replicas of the iconic Street Outlaws cars. First, we will have 5 OG style cars from the OKC.
57, the Dominator, Sinister Camaro, the Murder Nova, and of course, it wouldn't be right if we didn't have the Crow.
And this year, they're going to bring some backup from Memphis. We got Old Heavy, the Tomcat, the Hummingbird,
and of course, the Queen of the Streets in her 65 Malibu.
And by race day, we hope to have Zip Tie. Tony, would you like to add anything about these builds?
Well, if I was going to build replicas of the Street Outlaws, I had to make them as fast as I could just out of simple respect. And that's exactly what I did. I secretly tested and raced these cars, and they're as fast as I know how to make them.
And to race these 10 monsters, we're going to need the fastest cars the 724 has to offer. And since some of our fastest cars weren't even at our last top 10 list race, we put the call out for a special race to figure out what 10 cars deserve the honor of taking on the Street Outlaws.
And the cars racing for that honor will be the king of the tournament trophy holder, Beelzebub, the 2021-22 Halloween Shootout Champ, Valentine, the 420 Laurel Hannah Gorge Jump Champ, the Lambo,
former number 1 car, the Batmobile. Another former number 1 car, Slick Trick. And our third former number 1 car, the Cannonball.
Also, we have Hemi Thunder,
Keith Bean in the Plymouth called the GetX.
We got my little black Ford called the 52.
We got Drew Hall in the tow truck, the Wrecker.
And Drew's other car, the Magic 8 Ball.
And from the Clark Racing team, the one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater.
Also from the Clark Racing team, Damien.
And apparently, since they're pulling all the cars out of their stable today, we're going to have the Triton and the Fuzz.
We got my shiny green Mercury called Mean Street.
And you got my beautiful black Ford GT called the Antidote.
We have that concept car, the Dodge Diora, being driven by Michael Mack.
We got, what the hell is that thing?
I don't know, but it's Drew Hull's latest car.
The Exterminator.
We got a few more rookie cars, starting off with Prince.
Here's a new one from Tim Clark called the Joker.
And last but not least from the Clark Racing team, the Undead.
First of all, we took our fastest cars and held them back for the first round.
We don't need a car like, say, the Cannonball that we know is going to go, and having it beat a car that's slower than it is, but it's still faster than a lot of the other cars, and we would want it to be in one of those spots.
Hey man, why's the Batmobile in with the first round cars?
Well, if you remember, I had to pull the Batmobile out of our top 10 list because I needed to do a full overhaul, and I have no idea how it's going to run.
Well, guess we're not going to have to wait long. Race number 1 is the Batmobile versus the Triton.
Not too shabby for a maiden voyage, eh?
Yeah, you put a half a car on that 32, and that makes the Batmobile our winner.
Race number 2 will be the Exterminator versus the GetX.
I'm just loving that new angle on camera 1.
We needed to have it to catch people when they jump the light.
Yeah, it looks to me like GetX just X'd the Exterminator out of the competition. Race number 3 is the Wrecker versus the Undead.
The Undead had no problem covering that tow truck.
And our winner's that 61 Falcon Ranchero called the Undead.
Next up, it's me and Randy with a little Ford-on-Ford crime. The 52 versus the Antidote. Yeah, the 52 don't usually get gapped like that. And the winner is Randy in the Antidote.
I think you might need to get a little gap insurance on that shoebox Ford.
What do you want? I'm racing a Ford GT supercar.
Nah, you was sleeping.
Alright, that's enough out of you. On to race 5, we have the Purple People Eater versus the Magic 8 Ball.
Cool, buddy, it didn't take long for that new angle to pay its dividends. There's a double jump for you, clear as day.
And since we didn't call chases a race in the beginning, it's first is worst. And that makes the Purple People Eater the winner by default.
Yeah, tell them how you made them both jump.
That flashlight doesn't engage until you take your thumb off the button, and I realized people were going on the click instead of waiting for the light.
Yeah, that's being sneaky. It keeps them honest, but sneaky.
Thank you, sir. On to race 6. We have Hemi Thunder trying to outrun the Fuzz.
Oh, Fuzz got the jump.
That was a drag race. And Hemi Thunder clipped him right before the finish line.
And that makes Hemi Thunder our winner.
Race 7 is Mean Street versus the first timer, the Diora.
Ooh, that don't sound good.
And it looks even worse.
Fortunately, Diora didn't cross the center and survived the crash. She'll be back later next round. Our winner is Diora.
Race number 8 is a couple of rookie cars, the Joker versus the 1959 Stingray called Prince.
Why Prince?
'Cause it's my little red Corvette.
Oh, they both left together. But that 59 Stingray gapped the Joker the last 100 feet.
Alright, now if we take our round 1 winners and put them in with the cars we held back, you get a pack of cars that looks like this.
And after picking cards, the races split them up like this. And the losers go to the bottom of the list, and we'll stack the losers until we get to number 1.
And it goes something like this. Race number 1, Cannonball versus Slick Trick. And camera 1 gets another jump on video.
And that moves Cannonball to number 14.
Up next we have New School versus Old School Cool. The Antidote versus Valentine. Oh, looks like somebody was sleeping.
Yeah. Looks like I'm the one that needed that gap insurance.
And Antidote goes to number 13.
And now, we got the Batmobile versus GetX. Yeah, looks like the Batmobile's back, baby.
And the GetX takes a ride to number 12. Next up is the Pinto called Damien versus Randy in the Lambo.
Pinto got the jump on me at the line.
But the Lambo did what the Lambo does and came around him on the big end. And Damien went to number 11.
Next at the starting line, the Undead versus the Dodge Diora. Now hold on to your girdle, Myrtle. This may get a little weird.
You know, the Diora made a pretty good run there. Not bad for a car that just did 3 endovers and a roll.
And then fell into a gorge.
And that moves the Undead to number 10.
Moving right along, we have the Purple People Eater versus Prince. Man, that Stingray's deadlier than the one that got Steve Irwin. What? Too soon? Our last race of this round is Beelzebub versus Hemi Thunder.
And to no one's surprise, Beelzebub takes the win and Hemi Thunder goes to number 8.
Alright, boys and girls, it's nut cutting time. Slick Trick versus Valentine, Diora versus the Batmobile, the Lambo versus Beelzebub, and the lucky rookie draws the bye. Looks like it's you against your old lady. How you think this is gonna go down?
But same as usual, I lost.
Slick Trick goes to number 7.
Next up, I'm running the Batmobile against Michael Mack and the Diora.
Looks like the Diora had a little trouble along the way, and I guess that moves him to number 6.
Next up, Kelly and Beelzebub versus Randy and the Lambo. Well, brother, how do you think this is going to go down?
Just about the same as usual. I lost.
Ain't so bad. You made it into the top 5.
And here we go again. You against your old lady. How you think it's gonna go down this time?
A little better than usual.
Yep. Maybe you ought to sign her up for some of that Gap insurance. That's okay, Kel. There's no shame in your game. And Valentine goes to number 4. And here we go again. You two racing one another. Well, how do you think it's gonna go down this time?
And myself, like everybody else there, I thought I jumped. But you can see here, I just got lucky. The light comes on, then I move.
Looks like that race was won and lost at the line. And that brings us down to the last race of this round. And this race of vet-on-vet crime has Tony driving one and Tim Clark driving the other. Oh, now that was a drag race. Brother, it couldn't get any better.
I must be getting a little faster on the trigger. Me and Tim left at exactly the same moment.
Prince came around on the big end and clipped the Batmobile at the finish line.
And that brought us down to these 14 cars, and this was the order.
And that's when we started the call-outs.
The Cannonball called out the Antidote and won.
Then GetX called out Damien and won, which put GetX at number 11, just outside of the top 10.
Purple People Leader called out Hemi Thunder and won, which moved him to number 8.
Then I called out Valentine and somehow pulled out a win, and I went to number 4.
Yep, and before the end of the day, Valentine got in another call out and regained her number 4 spot.
Hey, that's okay. I'm still within the top 5.
Over the course of several call-outs, Diora and Purple People Eater traded spots, while Slick Trick somehow maintained his number 7 spot.
At which point, the top end of the list stopped calling one another out, and we let the bottom 5 duke it out to see who was going to move forward.
And that gave us this order.
And from this list, we have our top 10 fastest cars in the 724 today.
And as soon as we got this far, those numbers became meaningless because this became the team representing the 724 in our race with the 405 and the Memphis Street Outlaws coming later this spring. Hey everybody, Tony from Slotrods here with an update on preparation for our Street Outlaws themed episode. When I first built Dominator's car for our Street Outlaws race in February of 2021, I made his old school Barney purple dart with the big spoiler on it. However, in March of 2021, Dom released this picture on the internet. It was his car with a Daytona style wing and nose cone, and the fans loved it. We thought it would be the new car, but alas, when the new season of the show started, he was in his regular dart with huge tires on the rear and flip-flop paint ranging from blue to purple. Well, once said, once done, Dom. I saw the new design in March of 20, and I did this. So guess what? When we race the Street Outlaws cars, this is what Dom's car is going to look like. And something tells me if it does well in this 1/24 scale aerodynamic test, I might want to put this on his Twitter feed because I think he's going to be interested. So anyhow, folks, that's my update. And we're going to be having our Street Outlaws race at the end of April. So we should have the episode out by the middle of May. So on behalf of the rest of the 724, this is Tony Malik saying, we'll see you in the slots.
Show respect, step back, no need for space invasion. Stop saying your room number at the day's end. Let the girl dance, that's really all she came for. $1 million dress probably came from the thrift store. Even though she seems to be exactly what you wish for, she's never coming in on your transistor. Don't matter if you're rich or piss poor, she's out of your league and in a different sport. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. No sleeping allowed, yo, you just get a glance. Don't try to swim game, yo, just let the girl dance. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. You can watch her soul flow from a distance, but give her some space on, let the girl dance.
Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvis.
And I'm Tony Mollick.
Welcome back to Slotrods.
The day's finally come. Slotrods proudly presents the 724 versus the 124th scale Street Outlaws. In this episode, you're going to see a race between 10 of the fastest cars from the 724 versus 10 of the fastest cars from the 405 and Memphis.
From the 405, we have 5 OG cars. We got the Little Murder Nova, the Mini 57.
This car's real-life counterpart was in a catastrophic crash earlier this year. The driver was okay, but the car was destroyed. So tonight, we raced this car in tribute.
We have the miniature Sinister Camaro.
And this is the OG Sinister Camaro with the prominent silver stripes. That was the tricky part about making these cars. These guys have had different versions of these cars throughout the seasons of Street Outlaws, and I realized at a certain point I just had to pick whatever version it was that I liked the most and go with it.
I guess we could call this one Little Big Chief. This is a miniature version of the Crow.
And, of course, this is the version of the Crow from the 2021 season.
And this crazy looking contraption is a Dodge Dart with a Dodge Daytona wing and nose cone. And this will be the Dominator car.
We'll talk more about why this car looks this way a little later.
And from the Memphis family, we have the Kaiser, which was the 65 Malibu she ran for the past few seasons.
We have the little Hummingbird, and in real life, JJ the Boss wrecked this car. And though it still competes, it looks a little bit different these days. That powder blue 67 Malibu is the Mini Tomcat, and no one can miss Old Heavy.
Zip Tie made it in as well, but was finished just in time.
This car is driven by JJ's wife Trisha Wayne, and in real life this was wrecked at the same time as the Hummingbird. And both of them survived the crash, and we raced these cars tonight in honor of those two, and we're just glad you both made it.
And they will be racing the 724 team that was established in Season 2, Episode 8 of Slotrods.
If y'all haven't binged the older episodes of Slotrods yet, you really need to catch up.
And hopefully you like and subscribe while you do. Alright folks, let's get this party started. The teams will face off in randomly picked pairs. First team to 16 victories wins the race.
Here's your first round. Hemi Thunder versus Murder Nova, Kaiser versus Beelzebub, Tomcat versus GetX, the 57 versus the Batmobile, Prince versus Dominator, the Crow versus Slick Trick, Hummingbird versus the Lambo, Cannonball versus Old Heavy, Sinister Camaro versus Valentine, and Zip Tie versus Diora.
Round 1, race 1 will be Hemi Thunder versus Murder Nova.
Four rolling. Oh, looks like something's wrong with Murder Nova at the starting line.
Four rolling.
Tires broke, he got out of his lane, and the motor shut off.
And the first victory goes to the 724 by default. Somebody get some weight in the front end of that Nova before the next round.
Round 1, race 2, we got Kaiser versus Beelzebub.
Four rolling.
And per usual, Beelzebub gets a hit.
Oh, that's the first. Must have grew lane.
It was a perfect start for Beelzebub, and she managed to win by a car length, but paid the price just past the finish line.
Man, that car either wins, wrecks, or both. No in between for that car.
Ah, that bug lost a little paint, but she'll keep racing. She's double tough.
Round 1, race 3. We got GetX versus the Tomcat.
Fourth roll.
Keith got the jump and got that Tomcat by a car length.
Hold off on that 724 victory dance, Tony. Looks like Keith had a case of the happy thumb. You gotta watch it real close in slow motion, but he starts rolling right before the light comes on.
And that gives the Outlaw team their first win of the night.
Round 1, race 4 is that beautiful 57 versus Tony in the Batmobile. That bet got out of there pretty quick. Are you sure you didn't jump the light?
Nope, it was a clean start. I think the 57 was just a little sleepy on the trigger.
Round 1, race 5. We got Prince versus the Dominator.
Okay, now for the explanation. In March of 2021, Dominator released this picture on his Twitter feed. So everyone that saw it assumed this would be his new car, but he never did build it. So this was the same time I was building his car for this race, and once said, once done, Dom, so here's your car. It's a Daytona Dart. Hope you like it.
Dominator got the jump on him, but that 59 Stingray is an absolute beast, and still remains the 724's only undefeated car.
The Dominator car made a hell of a pass, it just wasn't quite enough.
Round 1, race 6, a former number 1 car, Slick Trick, versus Chief in the GTO.
Chief stole a hit and got out about a half a car on me.
And that looks to be all that he beat you by as well.
Every one of these Street Outlaws cars is built to be a potential winner. This should be 50-50 at best.
Round 1, race 7, the Lambo versus JJ's Hummingbird.
Fourth roll.
Looks like the Hummingbird just barely got you off the line, Randy. But he managed to put a car length on you before the finish.
Round 1, race 8, another former number 1 car for the 724, Keith Bean in the Cannonball versus Old Heavy.
Boys ready.
They left together.
But the Cannonball did what the Cannonball does. By the 3:30 mark, that race was over.
Round 1, race 9 is the Crystal Skull trophy holder, Valentine, versus the Sinister Camaro from Oklahoma.
Four's good. Four's good.
Kelly got that Nomad out first and just kept stretching that Camaro out, buddy.
Yeah, she made a hell of a pass.
That brings us to the last race of the first round. Diora versus Zip Tie.
There's Zip Tie, folks.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty one there. What happened to Zip Tie?
That looked like a loose crown gear. Of course, it didn't do that at Test and Tune. They never do. Somebody crank that gear down. We got a lot of racing to do yet.
The score is 7-2-4-7 and the Outlaws 3. And here are the races for round 2.
Round 2, race 1 is Keith and the Hemi Thunder versus the Queen of the Streets in the Kaiser.
Fours on it. Fours on it.
Now that's a drag race. Hemi Thunder takes it by a fender.
The score is now the 7-2-4-8 wins and the Outlaws 3.
Round 2, race 2, Diora versus Murder Nova. Hopefully they got the Murder Nova's light front end issues worked out.
Looks like they did. The Murder Nova just beat one of the fastest cars in the 724.
And beat them bad. Looks like the Outlaws are starting to get it worked out.
Oh. And it looks like he stuck the landing too.
Yeah, you could call it that. I hope the Murder Nova's alright for the next round.
The score is the 7-2-4-8 and the Outlaws 4. Remember, they're racing to 16, so there's plenty of time for the Outlaws to rally. So the 724 better not take their foot off the gas.
Round 2, race 3, Slick Trick versus Sinister Camaro.
I'm going.
They left the line together. Looked like Slick Trick got out ahead at first.
And it looks like the Camaro tried to reel him back in, but just ran out of real estate. And that brings the final score for today to 9-4 in favor of the 724. But this is still anybody's ball game.
We will be back soon with the exciting conclusion of the Mini Street Outlaws versus the 724. So until next time, on behalf of the rest of the 724, I'm Tony Mollick,
And I'm Randy Silvas.
and you've been watching Slotrods.
Show respect, step back, no need for space invasion. Stop saying your room number at the day's end. Let the girl dance, that's really all she came for. $1 million dress probably came from the thrift store. Even though she seems to be exactly what you wish for, she's never coming in on your transistor. Don't matter if you're rich or piss poor, she's out of your league and in a different sport. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. No sleeping allowed though, you just get a glance. Don't try to swim game, yo, just let the girl dance. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. You can watch her soul flow from a distance, but give her some bass on, let the girl dance.
Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mollick.
Welcome to the Season 2 finale of Slotrods.
2 seasons.
Yep, 2 seasons, buddy. And this one was longer than the first.
Well, buddy, it's been a hell of a lot of fun, and it's been great having you to do it with.
You know it, brother. I can't wait to get to Season 3.
We're going for wide, keep it moving.
No, hold on, brother. Don't go too far. We don't want to get demonetized by The Who. Here in our season-ending episode, we're going to show you the conclusion of the 724 versus the Mini Street Outlaws.
The score is currently 9-4 in favor of the home team, and the quest for the first one to Sweet 16 is underway.
5 wins is definitely not enough. Gang better not take their foot off the gas pedal.
We left off on the 4th race of round 2, Zip Tie versus the Lambo.
In the last episode, Zip Tie had his first race of the series. and half spun in gear just a little off the starting line. I hope they get that straightened out.
Four's ready.
Looks like Zip Tie was out to prove a point.
Yeah, he had me from the get-go. Dragged my ass the rest of the way down the track, too. I need new tires.
Time to hit Slot Cart Quarter and get some of those Paul Gage tires.
Oh, for God's sake, somebody please sponsor this man.
Please. Up next, the Battle of the Race Masters. The leader of the 405, Chief, and the leader of the 724, Keith. Currently, the score is 9-5 in favor of the 724.
Oh, Chief got the cannonball off the line by a half car.
Keith was reeling him back in by the time they got the camera, too.
Looks like the Crow got him by a bumper. That's what a drag race is supposed to look like.
Hell yeah.
The score is now 9-6. And that narrow lead is getting narrower and narrower.
Up next, we have Prince versus Dominator, the rematch.
I'm ready.
Boy, brother, that sure is two sexy looking cars.
Rolling.
That's two fast cars.
Yeah, Dom drew poorly. That's not the car to draw.
He managed to draw that Stingray twice now. I mean, that Dominator car is fast, please believe.
Yeah, that Stingray is brutal. The 724 tries to extend their lead, and that brings the score to 10-6.
And that record wouldn't even get you to the playoffs.
Well, fortunately for Slotrods, we only need one more than they have.
That is true. Next up, Valentine versus the 57.
Rolling.
Oh, Valentine stole the hit.
And that was all she wrote.
That race was all Kelly all the way. And that makes it 11 wins for the home team.
Next up's Beelzebub versus Old Heavy. Well, hold on to your socks.
If Kelly could keep all four tires on the road, she should have this one. Ooh, Old Heavy stole the hit.
Wasn't enough to outrun the bug from hell, though.
That brings the score up to 12 for the 724 and 6 for Team Outlaw.
Next is the GetX versus the Tomcat, the rematch. Keith jumped her last time, if you'll remember.
And this time, GetX gets the win.
GetX by a car. The score is 13-6.
Here's a matchup I've been waiting to see. JJ and the Hummingbird versus Tony in his 1976 Corvette called the Batmobile. Tony stole the hit. JJ just couldn't reel him back in.
.724 only needs 2 more wins to take it all, and both teams are bringing out their heavy hitters to start the next round off.
First up, you got Chief in his GTO versus Tony in his 1951 Chevrolet.
It was a perfect start. We both waited for the light. Let's get to the finish line camera.
Keith gets one for the Outlaws by half a car. The score is now 14-7, and the Outlaws are hanging on. We got Trisha Wayne in Zip Tie versus Tony in the Batmobile.
Score's ready.
It's like she saved a special ass whooping just for me for what I did to her husband in the Hummingbird.
That brings the score up to 14-8. The Outlaws are starting to rally, but they better hurry up. Here comes Keith in the Cannonball.
Score's rolling.
JJ stole a hit from Keith Bean, and that never happened.
Keith managed to come around him on the big end. You can see from this view at about the halfway point, right around the 300-foot mark. Keith came around that Hummingbird like he was tied to a stump.
The score is 15-8. And those Street Outlaws are out of mistakes.
Up next, we got the Murder Nova versus my Lambo.
Score's rolling.
You definitely need new tires, brother. That Nova left you in the dust.
Rolling.
And the Outlaws continue to keep it interesting, bringing the score up to 15-9.
Up next, we have the Queen of the Streets in Kaiser versus the reigning Queen of the Slots, Kelly, in Beelzebub.
Oh no, not Beelzebub.
Carolina's rolling.
Score's rolling.
Kelly stole a hit.
But she couldn't go A to B. Looks like that bug left the track about the 300-foot mark.
Looks like Precious was reeling her back in anyhow, but she went off the track before the finish line, which means technically she didn't cross the finish line.
And that narrows the lead to 15-10.
Next, we have the Tomcat versus Hemi Thunder. Now, the Tomcat has one win and one loss, and Keith already has one jump when he was driving against her in the GetX.
Score's rolling.
Looks like Tomcat got the jump, but he took her by half a car length.
And that's all she wrote. The fat lady is singing and the races have all been tallied, and I feel like this is the perfect ending for Season 2.
Well, Tony, what do we got to look forward to in Season 3?
First of all, Slotrods is going to have a new home in our own space, which is going to allow us to do several things we never got to do before. And it's also going to allow us to do several firsts in the Slotrod universe.
Like what, pray tell?
Like, for instance, we're going to be running our first ever 4-lane 1/8 mile races.
Let me get this straight. You're going to be running 4 slot rods side by side at the same time?
Yup.
Oh, sure. What could go wrong?
We're also going to give the viewers a look at the races from inside a slot rod.
You mean?
Yup. We're going to take the viewers on a 2 1/2 second ride from the driver's perspective at well over 200 miles per hour at scale.
You got anything else?
Actually, there is. For the very first time in hard body, no prep slot rod drag racing, we're going to race a quarter mile under power.
To which I will state again, what could go wrong?
Exactly.
And let's not forget our second annual Jump the Gorge race got rained out, so we're going to do a makeup race for that yet?
That's right. And we have some great ideas for some more theme races, such as a 3-team race between the big three, Ford, GM, and Chrysler.
Oh, that one should create some arguments.
I'm sure to get some discussion in the comments.
So, folks, we're going to take a short sabbatical to recharge our collective batteries and to set up our new Slot Rod Raceway. So, on behalf of the whole 724, it's been our honor to entertain you. Please consider liking, subscribing, and hit that bell on your way out.
So until then, I'm Tony Mollick,
And I'm Randy Silvis.
and you've been watching
Slot Rods.
Let the girl dance, don't interrupt. Nothing less than Patron in her cup. Gawkers all around, stalkers in the background. A portrait of some sad clowns that lost in love. It's simpler than Simon, cause she ain't trying to find no bush. She don't need no kind of drugs, she's shining like a diamond does. With some friends after work to blow some steam off. Using fake names the whole time to throw your team off. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. No feeling allowed though, you just get a glance. Don't try to game, yo, just let the girl dance. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. You can watch her soul glow from a distance, but give us some space, son, let the girl dance. Every move she make is a mystery that can instantly change the course of history. Or is it just me? She dances sexy without getting naked. It's working, looks good when she wakes up, perfect without working. Other girls came.
Now that's a drag race.